Yeah, I think obviously, like you said, penalties is a big part of that, and you eliminate some of those, it makes it easier on first and second down. But I'd say just hitting our when we have an opportunity, just making the play. We had even towards I know we were really bad on third down this past week, and I know I had two plays at the end where I'm still kicking myself, like I said, after the game. I could have hit two of those, and those would have put the nail in the coffin. So those plays we got to hit. We had some other ones throughout the game that were there that we didn't make for whatever reason. Everything goes together. It's up front, it's in the backfield. Communication. It's me and the wideouts be on the same page. All that, and we gotta get better and obviously be more efficient.
Biggest question: how's the ankle feeling after first practice on it? Right?
Yeah, it feels pretty good, better than I thought it would. So I'm happy with where I'm at. Obviously, trying to be smart and just make sure I'm ready to go. So I'm gonna ease my way into it, but just trying to get as many reps as I can, just to make sure I'm ready. So, but I'm feeling good, and we're where we want to be.
How concerned are you about getting it downfield a little bit more? Something that he mentioned earlier this morning, just your downfield shot.
Yeah, we gotta start finding some, and that's like I said, that's me taking them when we have them, hitting them when we have them. Like I said, towards down the stretch, we had two plays specifically where I easily could have hit those. One probably would have been a touchdown, the other one probably would have been a 30-yard gain to Ag on the sideline. So both of those were two opportunities, and then like I said, I think when you're more efficient on first and second down and you run the ball like we did last week, if you can combine all those things, then that sets up some opportunities for some shots, because teams have to respect the run. The way we've ran the ball this year, we've been really efficient, and but I think it's more so just getting ahead of the chains and penalties or incompletions early in drives, and then you get second 10, third and 10, all that sets you back. But we still got to overcome them. Like you're gonna have a lot of second and longs and a couple third and longs a game, and you got to be able to hit some of them and convert those, and we haven't done a good job of that. So even if we are backed up, just having that mentality on second and long, let's try to get a positive play. Let's try to get half of it back and then put us in third and manageable. And we haven't done a great job of that, so that's really starts with me. But yeah, I like where we're at. Obviously, that wasn't our best game as an offense, but it was really cool to see the defense just have our back and just dominated for 4 quarters. And there's going to be games where hopefully not a lot, but that's gonna happen. And then there's gonna be games on the other side where we're gonna have to pick them up. So that's just a part of this game, and I think that shows how far this team's come. That one side of the ball can struggle, and the other side can play well enough to still win the game. And we did enough down the stretch. Controlled the clock and took advantage of some opportunities, kicked some field goals. Matty Ice did a good job there. So just all those things go together, but we can definitely play better. So that's a good sign.
Does it surprise you in any way that Dan Arnold has come in here, kind of cold, week 4, and he's got more catches and yards than any of your other targets?
Doesn't surprise me, just seeing the way he works. He's just a really smart player. Obviously, he's very athletic, can get open, long strides, fast guy. He can run, so it's a mismatch. But just really smart, QB friendly. We communicate a lot, so it doesn't surprise me just seeing how he's come in and kind of become one of our guys. I think it's great, and it's something that we needed. So it doesn't really surprise me, but it is cool to see how fast he's, I guess, got used to the system and kind of just, gelled with everyone. It's been cool.
Now, one follow-up. I know you wanted to get back in that game as quick as possible, but could you just talk about, what CJ was able to do for? I know it was only 6 plays, and I know it was only, actually 3 passes, but one got nullified because of the penalty. The long pass, and he took a pretty big hit on it as well.
Just speaks to the player he is and just the person he is. He's always ready. Just a guy that I got a lot of respect for. Came in here, and he's an older guy that's played a lot of football, and he's helped me ever since I've gotten here. He's always been a guy that has been in my corner and tried to help me as much as he can. So I got a lot of respect for him because of that, but even more so just to see how he works. He's always ready no matter what. Like, he knows most weeks he's probably not going to play, and he's just still taking every rep off to the side, and whenever he gets a rep, making the most of it, and just always prepared. And I think you need a team full of guys like that, and he's a great example of that. And then going in and making the play when he needs to, it was awesome.
Could you give one specific example of where he's really helped you? In other words, maybe something you really weren't aware of, but he kind of dialed you in.
Yeah, just little things. It's a bunch of things. It's for example, whatever, if we put a concept in, he was in San Francisco, and, offenses around the league all do similar things and have, plays that are almost the same. You just call it something different, and you have a certain way of reading it. And just little tidbits you can give me on, how to speed up my feet or my eyes, or like what's the idea here, what we're trying to do, things like that. But then also just on the mentality, he's talked about he's had some rough years in San Francisco where, they started off struggling, and then at the end they won, whatever. And just talking about kind of the mindset of it's a long season, and that's been, I think, the biggest thing is just having him there for that support every week, no matter if I, play great, don't play great, if we win, we don't win, just having a guy like that in the room with you that's been there, that's been through the ups and downs, was on a team that went to the Super Bowl, was on a team that struggled early one season and then finished really strong. That's been, invaluable for me.
Now that a few days have gone by, what are really your impressions of what Walker was able to do on Sundays, considering the situation?
Yeah, I thought he did great. That's a tough situation, especially as a left tackle, to walk into the stadium thinking, this is going to be like the other 7 games and not really going to play, and then you got to go play the whole game against one of the best defenses in the league. I mean, that'd be hard for anybody, and just to see how he was ready and stepped up, and even on the one sack that he gave up, he got stepped on, so that wasn't even like he really missed the block. He just got stepped on. That's just one of those plays. So just see how he played, and that was the only play really that he gave up. So I thought he did great. It's awesome when you have depth like that, and you got a guy that's young that can play now, but just to even think about how good he's going to be in the future, it's really cool.
I'd have to imagine as a quarterback that's pretty cool to know that you have multiple guys who can play left tackle.
Yeah, depth is everything. Obviously, you can see every week. You never know what's going to happen. And I went down for second there. Not as bad as I thought it was, thankfully, but to have CJ come in, step up and make some plays, and then Walker come in, and then we're already down a lot of linemen from the beginning of the year. So it's been cool to be a part of, just so many guys that are ready and, take advantage of their opportunity.
Colts defense, I think Darius Leonard kind of, is probably the biggest name that jumps off the page for you when you sat down to look at their defense. Maybe who surprised you that really jumped out as a matchup you'd have to watch out for?
Yeah, obviously him. DeForest Buckner on the D-line. There's a lot of guys. Quiddy, the other end. There's a ton more I could talk about too, but I'd say Darius, obviously, just his knack for causing turnovers, and especially fumbles. I think every tackle he goes in punching the ball and gets it half the time. So that obviously jumps out, and just, as a heads up for us, these guys do a great job. I think they've forced the most turnovers in the league so far, and then they're second in turnover margin behind Buffalo. So another week where it's just going to be crucial to hang on to the ball. Last week we didn't play great on offense, but we only had 1 turnover to their 3, and that turnover margin, that won the game for us as far as just that alone. If we match that, then it's a different game. So that's just going to be a big emphasis again, and knowing that they're trying to knock it out. They do a good job in zone of getting in windows, and I think they've had 10 interceptions and 10 fumbles, so they're really balanced there. They do a good job. So it's another game where you're playing against a great defense, and you just got to be prepared and maximize all of our opportunities. That's one thing, like I said, we didn't do, and we can get better. And obviously we still won, so that just shows how much better we can get. So it's a positive.
3 true road games already. What have you learned from those, and maybe how to prepare for those, and how to be a little bit more consistent in those games?
Yeah, I think you don't prepare any different. Obviously, you know that it's going to be loud, and you have, I guess, that mindset of how you're going to operate is a little bit different, and you got to be a lot quicker just because it might take a little bit longer to communicate than it would at home. So that's one thing that you have to be ready for, which I feel like we've gotten a good feel for that, and definitely got to get better from Seattle. We didn't do a great job of staying ahead of the play clock, so that'll be a point of emphasis. But I'd say other than that, it's just the same thing every week, but even more so. This is a game of emotions, but you can't get emotional along the way. There's going to be ups and downs, especially when you're playing on the road. If they get a little momentum, they might make a few plays and they might take the lead, or they might whatever. You just never know what's going to happen. You got to keep playing the whole game, and you're not going to have the crowd to back you up. You got to create your own momentum, and nothing really changes though. It's still the same game, but just realizing it's a long game, and just to play 4 quarters, don't really let the momentum swings affect you.
I think you said on Sunday that you can't have everybody here feel like, okay, we won a game, we've got this. Do you sense that there might have been a little of that after Miami in London, or no?
No, I don't think so. I thought we prepared the same. Honestly, I just think that that's going to happen sometimes. You know, you go out there and you just don't play well all the way around, and it feels like you can't get anything going. Like I've been, you know, on a lot of teams where that's happened, and it just happens sometimes. Obviously, you got to limit that and just flush it and move on to the next. But I don't think it was from not preparing. I thought we did the same thing we always do, but that's just a good reminder to always have that edge. You know, maybe we didn't have that as much. I don't know. Can't say, but there was a lot of things that went into that for sure.
When you look at the replay of how you got hurt Sunday, did it seem as flukish to you as it looked on tape? Because it's not like it was a full-on, you know, him stepping on your foot or you. It just looked like a very flukish kind of contact, not the type of thing that would have caused you to wince in pain as much as you did.
Yeah, I mean, he just caught my, kind of stepped right on my ankle and rolled it when my foot was in the ground. So it doesn't take much to, you know, tweak an ankle. So that was, yeah, I don't really know.
That's when the guy's 330.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, his heel weighs more than my body.